There are living beings who can remember having to go through similar types of trauma and having to reimagine what resiliency and what leaning on each other looks like. What I wanted to do was offer an opportunity for us to be thinking about not just ancestors, but like it could be ancestors, it could be elders, it could be your own resiliency practices and things that you're adapting for this moment, right? Like the moments that we're in right now were like everyday ways of being when I grew up. And so we knew whose yards we could get strawberries and green beans from. Just these sort of things that we're finding ourselves returning to in this moment of crises. When I knew I was going to do this portion, I called my aunt and I was like, I remember these things, but like, what's some things that like you know about? She's like, oh girl, I'm glad you called me. I got this encyclopedia. It's called Natural Remedies Encyclopedia, and it's got like 11,000 different natural remedies, and she's had it since the 90s. She's been going to this book for 30 years, pulling out like natural remedies. So she has the one she remembers from her family, but then she also has a source that she goes to. So I think that this is amazing to lift up your practices, whether ancestral or current practices or things that have helped you to get through moments of health crises, to get through moments of anxiety, to get through moments. I lost my father to AIDS in 1985, and I can remember it's a similar climate, especially in the US, not knowing what AIDS was and how folks were treated and the quarantining and the isolation. And so even though it's not the same thing, there are living beings who can remember having to go through similar types of trauma and having to reimagine what resiliency and what leaning on each other looks like. And maybe if you are adapting a practice now, it comes out of a history within your family or stories that maybe you've been transferred through ancestral lineage or things you've studied. So let's just remember that we have people in our lives that maybe we don't get a chance to ask those questions of, or maybe they don't get to know how valuable their living knowledge is, or their ancestral knowledge is, or their elder knowledge is. And so the opportunities that we can have to have intergenerational dialogue and to share with one another is going to be very important with getting us through this moment and beyond.